All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful, most timeless storytelling formulas that has ever existed, the hero's journey. I mean, this thing is the blueprint for countless myths, epic books, and yeah, pretty much every blockbuster movie you've ever seen. But is it the only way to tell a great story? Or is there a totally different, maybe even more dangerous path out there?
You know the story. You really do, even if you don't realize it. It always kicks off in a place that feels, well, normal, comfortable. This is the first act, what they call the departure, and it's all about pulling our hero out of their everyday, kind of boring life.
So yeah, the whole thing starts right here, in the ordinary world. Picture a quiet little village, maybe a simple farm. Life is just predictable. But then, bam, something happens. A message arrives, a threat appears, a wild discovery is made, and it completely shakes things up. That's the call to adventure. But here's the thing, our hero almost never says yes right away. They hesitate, they refuse, they're tied down by fear, or maybe just the cozy comfort of what they already know.
And just when they're about to back out, right on cue, a mentor shows up. You know, the wise old guide who gives them some training, a special weapon, or maybe just a little pep talk they need to finally take the plunge. And with that little push, the hero finally commits. They cross that first threshold, leaving the familiar world behind for good. At this point, there's absolutely no turning back.
But what if this entire structure, this whole celebrated, beloved formula, isn't actually a guide to becoming great? What if it's really just a recipe for mediocrity? A comfortable little path designed for the spiritually weak?
Well, there's a really fiery philosophical critique that argues exactly that. It basically calls the hero's journey this monotonous, predictable track, and its purpose isn't to create a true, powerful individual, but just to safely guide a so-called hero through a short little adventure, only to drop them right back into the comfortable herd they came from.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting, because look how this critique just completely reframes the hero's trials. From this point of view, all this tests and allies, they're not about real growth. They're about learning the rules of a slightly more exciting game. And that great ordeal, it's not about some deep internal transformation. It's just about surviving long enough to grab a prize, a shiny object, a mere trinket that's totally external to who you are. The goal isn't to become the reward, it's just to get one.
But you know where this critique saves its absolute harshest words? It's for the final act. For the hero's celebrated return trip, right back to the ordinary world where they started. And this is the gut punch. The hero comes back with some elixir, right? Something to heal the community and bring everything back to normal. But this critique says, forget that. The community doesn't need a little patch-up job. It needs to be shattered by a whole new set of values. A true creator doesn't just fix the old world. They build a new one right on top of its ashes. So, if the hero's journey is the problem, what's the alternative? Well, this critique offers a totally different model. It's a path of radical self-creation, and it's best exemplified by Nietzsche's character Zarathustra, right at the peak moment he calls his great midday. Now, on this new path, your first enemy isn't some dragon or a dark lord. No, it's something inside you. It's called the spirits of gravity. Think of it like that little dwarf on your back, constantly whispering in your ear that trying is pointless, that giving up is the smart move, and that all you should really want is a nice, comfortable, happy ending. And to beat this spirit, the creator has to have a total awakening. This means becoming a yay-sayer, saying yes to every single part of life, the good and the bad, the joy and the pain. It means a will to power, not over other people, but over yourself. And it means embracing the heaviest thought imaginable, eternal recurrence. That's the challenge, to live your life in such a way that you would happily, willingly repeat every single moment forever. This new kind of person, this creator, or Übermensch, is defined by two really powerful symbols. First up, you have the eagle. This represents that soaring pride, the highest possible aspirations, and having the courage to stare right into the sun without flinching.
But here's where the beautiful balance comes in. The eagle's pride is grounded by its companion, the serpent. The serpent symbolizes that subtle, down-to-earth wisdom and cunning. So true greatness, from this perspective, needs both, right? You need the sky-high ambition, but you also need the wisdom to navigate the world as it actually is.
So, what it all comes down to is a choice. Are you a sun or are you a moon? The creator's path is all about choosing to be a sun, a radiant source that creates its own light and gives without ever asking for anything in return. And that's a world away from being a moon, which just follows the path someone else laid out for it and timidly reflects light from another source.
So here we are.
We're left with two totally, profoundly different models for what a meaningful life and a powerful story can be. One is a nice, safe circle. The other is a dangerous, vertical ascent.
And this slide right here puts that final contrast into perfect focus. The hero's goal is to return with the elixir, to bring a prize back home and fix up the old world. But the creator's goal, it's to become the elixir, to embody a new value so powerful it makes the old world totally obsolete. One restores the status quo, the other torches it and creates a new one.
Which leaves us with one last, kind of provocative thought to chew on. What's the real journey here? Is it the round trip designed to bring you safely back home, maybe a little bit improved? Or is it a one-way path of becoming something so new, so different that there's no home left to return to?